Breaking news! What if I told you the Baltimore Ravens are so close to making a decision that could save their season or completely destroy it? What if the move fans have been demanding for weeks could be happening, but there was a twist? A decision so obvious, so long overdue, yet still surrounded by hesitation, favoritism, and internal conflict? Something is simmering behind the scenes, and it's all coming to a head now, during the bye week. The question isn't just who will start on the offensive line, it's whether the Ravens are finally ready to admit they made a mistake. But before we dive into this developing situation, be sure to like this if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you'd like, comment go, Ravens. Right now, we want to hear from all corners of Flock Nation. The Ravens are sitting at a disappointing 1-5, and the offensive line, specifically the guard play, has been a complete disaster. It's not an exaggeration. It's not media hype. The numbers in the film tell the story. Daniel Falale and Andrew Voorhees are grading out at 57.3 and 58.1 on Pro Football Focus. Now, I know what some fans are thinking. PFF grades aren't everything. But when the tape matches the analytics, you know you've got a problem. And that problem has a name, or rather two, Falale and Voorhees. Game after game, the same story plays out. Quarterback under pressure. No push in the run game. And on key downs, third and short, goal line situations, nothing. Against the Rams, the Ravens had 3 chances from the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, and they got absolutely nothing. Not because the play calls were bad, but because the interior offensive line got flat out manhandled. This isn't just poor execution, it's a lack of basic trench dominance, something this franchise used to pride itself on. Jeff Zrebiec, the always reliable Ravens insider, dropped a bombshell of optimism this week. He believes change is coming, and fast. Heading into the Week 8 matchup against the Bears, the Ravens are expected to make a switch at guard. Zrebiec said he'd be moderately surprised if we don't see Ben Cleveland or undrafted rookie Corey Bullock get a shot at starting. And Ravens fans, that's the kind of good news you've been desperate for. Let's break it down. Corey Bullock is a 6 feet 3 inches, 307-pound undrafted free agent who's yet to play a regular season snap. But at this point, how much worse could it get? On the flip side, Ben Cleveland is the wild card. He's been on this roster his entire NFL career. He's played in 60 games, and he started 6. He's a mountain of a man, 6 feet 6 inches, 370 pounds, and he's been buried on the depth chart while lesser performing linemen like Falale and Voorhees struggle week after week. There's been no good explanation for why Cleveland hasn't started. None. And then there's Emory Jones Jr. Now this is where things get interesting. A 3rd-round pick who some in the organization believe could be a starter for the next 8 to 10 years. But his development has hit roadblock after roadblock. Shoulder surgery after the combine, missed rookie minicamp, missed training camp, landed on IR, and only recently had his practice window opened. According to offensive line coach George Warhop, Jones just had his first day repping pass protection. 7 practices total. 1 rep in pass pro. That's it. So while the upside is there, he's still weeks away from being a real option. This is why the Ravens are looking at Cleveland and Bullock now. It's a crisis, yes, but it's also an opportunity. This bye week is a reset button. If they're serious about salvaging this season, starting with Chicago, these changes must happen now. Because that's the million-dollar question every Ravens fan is asking right now. From what we know, there's legitimate pressure mounting inside the organization to make this move. The fans see it. The media sees it. Analysts are pointing it out every single week. And now with Jeff Zrebiec going on record saying he'd be moderately surprised if a change doesn't happen, the ball is clearly in the coaching staff's court. But here's the catch. What if they don't pull the trigger? Let's be real here. If Baltimore trots out the same offensive line after the bye, featuring Falale and Voorhees again, and they continue to underperform, it won't just be a disappointment. It'll be a dereliction of duty by this coaching staff. The tape doesn't lie. The stats are damning. And the team is 1-5. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Ravens fans, it's not just about 1 or 2 players. It's about sending a message that says, performance matters. Accountability matters. If you play poorly, you don't start. Period. That's how championship caliber organizations are run. And while the Ravens have long prided themselves on being one of the league's most stable franchises, this season is a test of that identity. Are they willing to make bold choices to correct course? Or are they going to stick with what's familiar, even when it's not working? Let's take a step back and look at how the offensive line has impacted this team holistically. The Ravens have converted just 3 out of 8 rushing attempts on 3rd or 4th down with less than 2 yards to go. That's a 37.5% conversion rate, among the worst in the league. And in those critical short yardage situations, when every inch counts, the guards are supposed to be the muscle, the anchors. But instead, they're getting pushed around, missing assignments, and, perhaps worst of all, colliding with their own teammates. Yes, we're talking about that infamous play against the Kansas City Chiefs where Falele, with no defender to block, decides to help by crashing into Tyler Linderbaum, freeing up the defender to make the tackle. It's not just bad football, it's fundamentally broken execution. And that's been the story all year long. So now the Ravens face a pivotal crossroads. There are options on the table, good ones. Ben Cleveland is healthy, experienced, and clearly capable of stepping in. Corey Bullock may be unproven, but he's hungry. Sometimes that fire, that edge, that desire to prove yourself is exactly what a team needs. And Emory Jones Jr., while not ready today, represents the future of this line. But if the present continues to crumble, fans will start demanding the future arrive sooner than planned. And don't forget the schedule. After the bye, it doesn't get easier. The Bears might look beatable on paper, but 3 straight road games follow: Dolphins, Vikings, Browns. Then a visit from the Jets. Then 2 brutal division matchups against Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. If the offensive line isn't right, it's going to be a bloodbath. Lamar Jackson can only do so much when he's running for his life, and the run game has zero punch if the interior line keeps getting collapsed. The front office knows this. The coaching staff knows this. And the players know this too. Daniel Falele and Andrew Voorhees, to their credit, are likely working their tails off in practice. But effort alone isn't enough. Results matter, and the Ravens are running out of time. Now, here's where things get even more intriguing. If the Ravens do make a change, and say Ben Cleveland steps in and plays well, what happens next? Do they finally stabilize the line? Can this offense get back to being the smash-mouth, physically imposing unit we expected coming into the season? Because the potential is still there. The talent is on this roster. They just need the right pieces in place. But if Cleveland doesn't perform, if Bullock gets his shot and struggles, or worse, if the coaching staff refuses to make a change and Baltimore drops the next 2 games, then the conversation shifts entirely. Then we're not just talking about personnel, we're talking about philosophy, leadership, the long-term direction of this team, and potentially the job security of key figures within the organization. The trade deadline looms right around the corner. The next 2 games will define everything. Win both, and the Ravens could become buyers, looking to make a playoff push. Split them, and maybe they tread water. But lose both, they become sellers. Suddenly, guys like Odefoa or even veteran starters might be available in player-for-player trades. It's a pivotal stretch, and it all starts with the decision on the offensive line. So I'll leave you with this. If you're John Harbaugh, if you're George Warhop, do you stick with what's clearly broken? Or do you take a chance on change, on Cleveland, on Bullock, on the hope that a spark up front can reignite this season before it's too late? Let me know what you think, Ravens fans. Should Daniel Falele finally be benched? Is Ben Cleveland the answer? Or are we all just waiting for Emory Jones Jr. to take over? Drop your thoughts in the comments.